What if I told you 67% of your customers are checking this one thing before they buy from you? And if you get it wrong, you're losing sales before they even add things to your cart? Well, it's your return policy. But here what's crazy. While most retailers are treating returns as a cost center, the smart ones are actually using that as a profit machine. In fact, 97% of customers who have a positive return experience will likely buy from you again. So in this video, I will show you how to handle 80% of the problems when it comes to refunding and dealing with the customers all on autopilot through an AI agent. First, I'll show you how this agent will talk with the customers in real time. Then, it will confirm with the customers the exact order they've placed. Finally, it will decide if the return is reasonable or not. All of that is happening within minutes. And the best thing is, you don't need any technical skills or experience. I'll show you step by step how to achieve. If you're new to this channel, my name is Edwin Shen, and I run my own AI agency, Legacy AI. In the past 8 months, we've been helping more than 10 different B2C service brands and retail store owners, providing the best customer experience through AI implementation. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've already set up a fake Shopify store. Now, it works for any kind of online store that you're having, right? Like WooCommerce, whatever you use to sell up. I'm just using Shopify in this case, but I've set up a fake one where it sells t-shirts and I've put in a fake order. So in this order, I have order 1001. It was placed on Sunday. This is the customer, right? It's obviously fake with email, phone number. It's got the total amount. I make it free for purchase, payment status, unfulfilled, etc. So if I click on the order, you can see what they ordered. They ordered a white t-shirt. I make it £0 just to make it go through. And then they also have a shipping address and the billing address, right? So this is kind of the setup that we're having. So I'm going to show you how you can build a very, very basic refund chatbot on the website that can automatically handle refunds. And you can take this kind of basic setup that we have and extend it to like a real world production scenario. So let's go to Voiceflow. Let me kind of show you how it works first. So I'm just going to click on test your agent. So, hey, welcome to Kelvin Killing. My name is Lara. I'm here to help you with your refund inquiries. To start off, may I have your email, please? I'm just going to go ahead and copy the email of this specific customer, which is this guy. I'm just going to click here. And just going to wait for a little bit. Hey, Russell, I put up your order. Here's a quick summary. One white t-shirt, order number 1001. This is shipping address. Can you confirm this order? Yep. Now, I put this in there on purpose so you can see exactly what's going on. It'd be like, thank you for confirming your order. Could you please tell me why you'd like to request a refund? I accidentally tore the shirt during washing. Unfortunately, according to our return policy, that is not qualified for refund, right? So this is just like an example, right? Now, this one, obviously, it would not. You should exclude that. I'll explain that in the flow, why you shouldn't include it in the actual settings. But this is kind of the setup that we have. And let me just kind of go ahead and dive into how we can think about building this kind of refund agent, right? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to set up like some sort of Shopify API. So this is the bread and butter of how we can think about building the entire flow out. So the way you do that is you go to settings and you go to apps and sales channels. Then you go ahead and click develop apps, right? And you click create an app and you can just click like demo 2, right? I'm just going to create a new one. Now, there's quite a few things. The thing that you want to do is that if you want to have a look at the documentation, you can go ahead and click access store data with the admin API. This is the admin API that we're going to be using to basically retrieve the orders and the customer's information that are currently being saved within Shopify, right? So if you want, you can go ahead and read this documentation at your own time, but I will cover the major use cases within Voiceflow anyway. So the way that you can do that, another thing that you should be doing is to configure the admin API scopes. So that allows you to access certain things. So for example, right now, none of them is selected. So you will want to, for example, read customer events, write assigned fulfillment orders. You should be able to write checkout branding settings. You should be able to write discounts. You should be able to read and write customers. You should be able to write files, discovery, like basically just go through this list and whatever you think is
useful, like the payment terms, like the price rules, like whatever you think is useful that the AI should be able to do, right? For example, read and write products, which obviously should be included. Like you would just basically go through this, read and write returns, and yeah, essentially you would just click save. I'm not going to do that now because I've already set one up. And I'm just going to click cancel. And the way that you can actually access using the Shopify API is to go to API credentials. You've got the API key and the API secret key. You want to actually just copy that and actually save somewhere. Now, I've already gone ahead and save it, so like don't worry about this specific like one. Like this is mine, but I'll just delete it after this video. And you hit them with a greeting message, right? Hey, welcome to Calvin Klein. My name is Lara. I'm here to help you with refund inquiries. Start off, can I have your email, please? And what you do here is basically using the capture step within Voiceflow. So this will actually go ahead and you can select entity and you say create entity. You can just say the name email and data type. You just need to select email. So what this does is within Voiceflow, it will automatically verify kind of like I'm trying to collect the email from the customers. So if the user doesn't put in an email, let's say the user put in, hi, it's not going to go ahead and go for it. So it's going to reject the value that the user provides. And it's going to be like, hey, no, this is not an email. You need to provide an email, right? So if I just run this with you guys, right? If I just quickly run this, hey, welcome to, yeah, it's going to say, if I just say like 1, 2, 3, right? If I just put some random things in, it shouldn't accept my answer. It seems like that might be a typo. Could you type in your email address again, right? Exactly. So the next step is actually using the agents tab within here, which is how we build AI agents within Voiceflow. So delete that. And you just click on edit. And from here, I've written a prompt. So let's go through what's happening here, right? So I put in a persona, like a person, like a name for the refund agent. It's called Sean. He said, you're Sean, a refund agent working at Calvin. Your only responsibility is to assist customers with refunds. You do not answer questions outside of refund requests, right? So of course, like in the real production settings, you would want your AI agent to be able to do multiple things, right? Like recommend products, like have a conversation with the customers, right? By the way, if you want to know more about Commerce Agent, I've just recently done an interview with Blair Motley on like one of those being Commerce Agent and kind of how real businesses actually would think about incorporating Commerce Agents. Like one's like a travel agency use cases, the other is like a restaurant chain use cases. So I will basically have them here, maybe somewhere in the screen, so you can go click and see that video if you haven't already. But back to this video, it's like, for now, for this specific, very simple demo that I put together, you don't answer questions outside refund requests, right? And you give it tools and definitions. So we give it like the first one's guest customer. The input is none, right? System retrieves automatically, and the output is customer ID and name. So these you would want to define the tools that the AI has access to. Now, what is a tool? Each of these tools, all it does is just retrieve information about that specific customer and that specific order. So let's go ahead and see this one by one, right? I have this get customer tool. By the way, the way that you do that is click on that and you click on API call, right? You just create API tool and then you will just configure the settings here. I'm just going to delete that. Let's start with get customers. That's the first thing. So trigger this as the first step to retrieve customer details, right? Because we need to know which customer that is. And that, remember, we captured the email, right? So, and we have the Shopify API key already set. So within this API, I would just call this URL, which is the Shopify like store name of the Shopify store, right? So if I just go to here, Calvin.demo, that's myshopify.com, you just copy that. You click /admin because we're using the admin API. The date's 2025-07, that just because they update it like every year or so. And then you just say /customers because we're trying to search for the customers, right? And then you say /search.json. I didn't just make that up. It's in the documentation in here, within the admin API. If you want to have a look, you just customers, query, customers, right? You can have a look at the documentation yourself. So yeah, this is how you would be able to look at the customers, right? Details and retrieve it. We have the Shopify access token, right? With this header, it has to be exactly that, which we have the Shopify API. We also have the query, which is what we queried in this API, which is the email of the customers. So if we run this tool, what it does is going to be capturing the response, which is we want to know the customer ID of that specific customer based on their email and the Shopify API, right? We're just retrieving customer ID. The second tool it has is the order ID. So if I just click on here, it's a trigger. This is a second step to retrieve order ID. It will need the Shopify API and the customer ID that we just retrieved from the get order tool. So let's have a look inside. Same thing, same URL, right? In this case, we just need the header, right? Pretty straightforward in this case. And we're going to be capturing the order ID based on the customer ID, because now we have the customer ID, then we can just capture the order ID, right? Now we know which specific order that specific customer has, because the same customer can have multiple orders, right? We want to be retrieving the correct order. Now, the third step is get order, right? So it's literally getting the order details. So trigger this as the final step to retrieve the order details, right? So again, it's pretty straightforward. We just have this URL. Like once you get the hang of the API docs within Shopify, it should be pretty straightforward. Then we have the headers, right, and the key value pairs. And from this, we're going to be capturing the actual order details, like what exactly did the customer order, right? And then we captured inside variable in Voiceflow. And how the conversational flow is based on this prompt, right? We first retrieve the customer information, right? We get the customer ID and the name, then retrieve the order ID by using the get order ID tool. Finally, we retrieve the order itself, which is get the raw JSON stored in the details, right? So we just retrieve the order details and we confirm the order, making sure that, hey, name, hey, John, I put up your order. Can you confirm this is your order, right? And then you summarize the order based on the order details. Exit condition. If it's yes, if the user said yes, proceed to exit the agent step and extract product details. So if yes, then we can leave this agent. If no, we encourage the user to contact the customer support team, right? Because there's some sort of mistake. So for simplicity, I'm just going to ask them to contact the customer support team. But let's assume they say yes, right? They confirm their order. Then it goes through a function step. Now, you don't really need to know what this, like the in and out of the coding part. What this really does is just cleaning up a lot of the kind of, because when you retrieve it from the raw API, it's a bit messy. It's a bit unclean. It's basically a messy JSON. So after this function step, it's going to go ahead and clean the formatting and extract the appropriate values that we actually want to use within this function step. If you don't know how to code, like, I wouldn't worry too much about it. You can always ask ChatGPT or Claude to help you with writing up the JavaScript function. But afterwards, you will have a cleaned up product list. That's why I kind of show you in the beginning when we use the text agent step. And afterwards, it's going to go through a main refund agent, right? And this is the step where we actually ask the user. It's actually a refund policy verification agent. So the responsibility is to evaluate a refund request against Calvin's return policy using the knowledge base. You receive confirmed order details and the customer's refund reason from previous agents, right? So what it does is ask the customer, okay, why would you want a refund, right? So and then they will have access to something called the knowledge base. The knowledge base basically contains the return policies of that specific company. So in my example, I said I accidentally tore it during washing. That's my fault, right? So most companies will have the policy of rejecting that as a refund reason. So it's basically checking, right? If you look at the conversational flow, ask for a refund reason, right? Can you ask me why you'd like to request a refund? Evaluate the reason against the policy, run the knowledge base with customers state the reasons, yes, no, and unsure. If it's yes, then good news, your refund has been approved. If no, well, we are unable to process a refund, right? Give the reasons. If they're unsure, we should escalate to the human customer support team so that they can have a further review, right? So that's kind of the use case that we have. And that's why we have the 3 different exit condition, yes, no, and unsure. And then we'll have access to the knowledge base, right, which is, if you didn't know, you can just go to here, the knowledge base, and I've just uploaded a fake Calvin return policy, like general policy, eligibility for refund, etc. Right? Just put that inside the knowledge base, right? Pretty straightforward use case. And if it's yes, then say, okay, name, we're happy to proceed for your refund. No, unfortunately, right? Not sure. Then be forward to customer support team. So this is a very, very, very basic setup of like how you should think about setting up a refund agent, like or at least having a refund conversational flow within your bigger customer support agents in your retail stores, in your e-commerce stores, etc. Right? And the things that I would add on to this basic build is adding some sort of email verification steps, right? Because they just provide a random email. Maybe some sort of user login system, some sort of authentication systems, and some of the authentication steps in between here that can actually verify the user that they are who they are, right? That's one thing. A second extension would be if, let's say, the refund is true, like it's like, okay, name, we're happy to proceed for your refund, then it will actually directly go ahead and do the payment processing as well, like like some sort of Stripe automation as an example. If it's not sure, there should be some sort of flow that can forward the human, let's say, ping an email, like create a customer support ticket, a send desk ticket to the appropriate customer support team, right? That's another extension of flow that you can do. Another thing that you can do, because we're assuming that right now it's only one person, right, ordering one thing, which is pretty straightforward. But what if there's multiple users and there are multiple things that they're ordering? Then it gets slightly complicated, and that is where we need to generalize this flow a little bit. But hopefully this gives you a very solid basic idea of how you can set up something relatively simple using the Shopify APIs and Voiceflow that you can build together a simple refund chatbot. Now, if you're curious to take this a step further, or if you're curious to learn more about this or about how it can work in a production settings for your business, feel free to book a discovery session with me and my team where we can walk through to discuss your business a little bit better and help you guys set up a system like this one. So yeah, hopefully that has been helpful. If you enjoyed this kind of content, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.